Hi, I'm Victoria Cornell, here with Mr. Bilello.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for being here with us.
Absolutely, no problem.
What's your favorite thing about teaching?
My favorite thing about teaching is the interaction with my students. I could have done a bunch of different stuff, but I would not be as happy doing anything else. When you come in, you get to meet all different, students from all different backgrounds, different types of students that have different interests, and it's really a lot of fun for me to get to know all my students and kind of be a small part of your lives, so to speak.
Why did you choose to teach this subject?
I love politics. I've always loved politics forever, okay? And it's something that from when I was, I would guess maybe a sophomore or junior in college, I had a professor, his name was Stephen Rice, great teacher. He, again, taught political science and really made it come to life for me. And that's when I kind of knew that's what I wanted to do. And I love it. And I like being able to teach my students, maybe not to love it, but to at least be involved in it. It's very difficult, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids. They don't really see the importance of politics and importance of the government, how it works for them. And I think in the last couple of elections, it's come to life a little bit more. So that's really something that I enjoy doing. It makes it fun.
It's great that you love your job.
For sure.
I don't think it's good to not, because then you won't really enjoy anything.
Yeah, I think it's difficult. Something with teaching and with teachers in general, it's a difficult job, but it's what I call a labor of love. You have to love what you're doing. So if you don't, it can turn into a situation where you're not only not enjoying it for you, but the students around you are not enjoying it. So I usually can tell I'm doing a good job if the students that are in my class are enjoying it, and that's kind of how I sort of gauge whether I'm doing a good job or not.
Well, that's wonderful. Why are you only teaching honor civics?
Okay, so prior to this year, from about 2010, every freshman in the GNC took personal finance and they took civics. And I thought that was a great thing because I think personal finance is very important. I think it's important that students learn that skill. And then they also took civics, which I think was very important too. These classes probably should be paired together in junior year. I think when you're a junior, you're 16, 17 years old, you're much more politically active. You also have your first job. Hopefully by that point, you're starting to save money, getting ready to pay for college. I think those two courses would be much better off as junior electives, but they're in the freshman, in freshman year in the GNC. What happened last year was they decided to add a computer science class to pair with the personal finance. I didn't really agree with that, but that's what they decided to do. So they said, we will do an honors civics class. So I was able to go down to Sandburg and kind of recruit a little bit. This is the first year. We have about 25 students that are taking it over two classes. It's been a lot of fun. It's been great. The kids have been great. I'm hoping to grow that into at least a 5-section class, which I think I'll be able to do either next year or the year after. And then they filled it in with some sociology, which I taught when I taught seniors. I used to teach senior sociology, from 2005 to 2010, so that was a good time to do that. It's a little bit challenging teaching freshmen sociology because it's a little bit different. The kids aren't as mature. Seniors were much more, you're able to have the conversations with them. But it's been good. So it's been a little bit of a change. Honor civics has been great. And it's been good to get back to my roots a little bit with sociology. It's been fun.
Do you kind of miss not having as many students?
I do. I really feel like now more than ever, students need to learn about civics. They need to learn about the government. They learn about, not so much politics, just about the basics of the Constitution and how our country works. If we don't teach our students that, it's going to affect us long-term as a country. If we don't have students that know that, it's definitely going to be an issue. So I'm hoping that at some point they bring a civics class back, maybe with some of the older students. Maybe a couple of years goes by, because right now, again, 25 students are taking civics as freshmen, but there is over 600 students in the class. So that's a lot of students that aren't getting it. Now, they might get it in their U.S. history class, but they're not getting it in a specific class. So hopefully they'll bring it back. I wouldn't mind bringing it back, like I said, as a junior elective, but it's difficult. Once something goes away, it's kind of hard to get it back sometimes in just schools in general.
For my last question,
Sure.
what do you think of your students?
Well, I think that the students now, now we're 4 school years after the pandemic, they are coming back to the way they were before. So what happened during the pandemic, I believe, is that we encourage the students to do all the things that we don't want them to do, like be on computers all the time, be on their phones all the time. And I think that really, really affected that probably 3 years worth of students where we have major, major social media addiction. Now, like everything that happens all the time, we're seeing a backlash towards that. I just saw this morning that Australia is passing a social media ban for anyone under the age of 16. I don't know if a ban will come to America, but I definitely think that cell phones and social media will hopefully not play as big of a role in teenagers' lives because we're seeing the negative impact that it has on our students. So this year, for the first time, I don't have to take my students' phones away from them. Last year, I had to. I got one of the holders on the wall, and I made everyone put their phones up there because they could not put them away. This year, I sort of did it as like an optional, like if you don't take your phone out, I'll let you keep it. And I've had no problems with that. I've had no one that's taken their phone out while I'm teaching. I've had no phones go off when I'm teaching. So that part has been better. And just students in general, I mean, they're great. I mean, people think that, especially people that are teachers, they think that, oh, the kids are so different than they were when, they're so different than they were when I was a kid. But that's not necessarily the case. I just think you guys have much more access to technology than we do, And so I think kids in general are the same, but the technology is just so different. But yeah, I love them. They're great. Great students this year. Great freshmen this year.
Thank you for being here with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Cut.